and all, hope you're doing well. Thank God it's Friday. It's been an absolute rollercoaster week. We had the BOJ intervention, and in the UK we got a Prime Minister resignation in the space of a week. So we've got to be careful, especially around the pound, and we've got to be careful around the yen. The dollar is surging because of the yields. The 10-year yield hit 2008 high, and we all know what happened in 2008. We had the big crash. So it's forecasting a big move, a big risk-off move. We've got to be careful for that. VIX was crushed, so that was quite illuminating and slightly frustrating because things were going risk-off, but they've crushed the VIX down. So this going below 30 could be a risk-on indication. The 24-hour difference, it's very subtle and very slight. I thought we might be risk-on today, but we're currently risk-off because we didn't go below zero. When we go below zero, it means that the retail guys are trapped on their short bets. So stocks and indices can go up. As long as the retail guys are selling, things should be going up. But currently they're long, but just ever so slightly long. Today's going to be really, really key. If we see a heavy move to the downside, it should move this risk calc on the big picture to risk on by Monday, because we need to flush the dumb money out. We need to get rid of the apes, and we need to scare the sheep. So today we could probably puke, and then that will be a flush that we need. And then Monday we will flip onto risk on, and then you're looking to buy dips, but not currently when these guys are net long. VIX below 30, like I say, so be careful. Yes, below 26.5, and that will be quite a good sign for risk. That's the yearly pivot. So the yield pump. So if you're wondering what's happening to the dollar yen, that's it's pumping because of that, and also the sentiment as well. And these are really, really high, really scary high. So I don't know what's going to bring these down, apart from maybe like some resolution in geopolitics, or maybe we're going to have like a forecast for the Fed funds rate. Maybe it won't be 75 basis points. If it's more likely going to be 50 basis point hike, that might help the yields just calm down a bit. So yeah, just be careful. It's supporting the dollar because they're pumping, right? And there's lots of uncertainty with the rest of the world. Look at the pound and look at the Eurozone as well because of that gas issue. We're approaching winter now. If we're not winter already, we will be soon. Yield curve is unhealthy. That's just pumped. So there's the flight to safety. So we had the big heads up of the risk off for several weeks, months, and we had the big heads up there. So if this 3 month continues higher, then we'll be risk off. 4% is probably a level that the Fed could be monitoring because they are looking at near term, short term yields. This reflects what the Fed policy is doing. This is longer term interest rate expectations. This is like concern about what the Fed are doing near term, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Up beyond that, it's down to other factors. But this is Fed policy. So these pump. It means that probably interest rate hike, aggressive hikes are on the horizon. Okay, so if it come down a bit, then they're not so scary, basically. Yeah, that's it, 26.5 on VIX, so keep an eye on that. It's worth putting an alert, a notification on TradingView. So if we go below that, we could be quite risk on. Not really much movement on the indices. They sold FTSE, but then they went long on US 30, so they cancelled each other out. So we didn't really have much shift, and that's this, that here, very, very slight difference, and that's because US 30 and UK 100, they basically just erased one another. Oil is a sell. Whether or not that is going to be a sell, you probably would want to check fundamentals and technicals. Sentimentally, this is going all over the shop, and gold to sell too. AJ is a buy, but whether or not you want to get involved in that, because we're quite risk off, but VIX is below 30, so it could be a good one. And also don't forget the yen and the BOJ. That's going to impact this, so want to be careful. Hulk mode, Kiwi is the interesting one. It's the strongest one. of the lot, which was a surprise when I saw that data this morning. I was like, oh right, okay. So there's the New Zealand dollar here, and the dollar CAD is the laggard. So that is of note, interesting, and difference from last Friday. The data rolls over. This data isn't from Monday; it's from a week prior, and that's how it works. So it's quite cool. There's no trade of the day today because it would have been the pound CAD. However, the pound is just whipsawing right now, and it's subject to news. And we have a new prime minister on Monday, so it's going to be pretty intense weekend. I wouldn't be trading pound today or Monday, and I probably wouldn't hold any pound exposure over the weekend as well. It could rally if Sunak gets it because he's ex-Goldman Sachs and he's got banker buddies, and that could be good, like for the sentiment for the economy. The UK economy could do with a financial lead, and he'd be a good lead for the country. So like Liz Truss didn't really open talks with the US. One of her priorities should be as Prime Minister to open talks, trade talks with the United States, but she didn't do that. And Sunak will. He'll do that as like a top priority. So the pound should, appreciate, and the UK 100 as well. And the UK economy can probably start picking up a little bit. And we just need a strong leader. And that's the thing. We need a lot of uncertainty with our trade of the day. So just sit in your hands and preserve capital. If you fancy the gamble, pound CAD would be a short, but I wouldn't recommend it. It might be good, but just be careful. And hopefully by Tuesday, we'll have some clarity around the pound. And we'll have a speech as well for the new Prime Minister on Monday night. And that's going to be quite a roller coaster. The S&P says the technical break, and they are long at a static level. See, it's red. They're long on the S&P. So technically not so good. Sentimentally not so good. How about dynamically? Is that they did buy the dip. So not only was it already a sell, but they're adding to that bias. And so this is why we're falling. So there's the dynamic, and then there's the static. So the static is that number there, 1.232 or something it says there. So that's a static where I sell at the high level. We're above 0, and dynamically they bought it. So that cements a deal there. So, but keep an eye on that horizontal here. So it caught them out a little bit, and this is a daily chart as well. So very, very tricky to trade. It looked like we were going to break that support and then bounce higher. Next day, nope. And then the next day, nope. So yeah, be careful. They went long on the US 30, and 30,500 was the level of interest, which I was telling you guys to be careful of, and we are quite well below that now. 30,500 was the level to buy above or sell below. And the reason for that, it was a shift channel top, which is basically a range high, range low. So we're in that range. So we're going to zigzag now and try and chop people out and try and flush them out, because they desperately need the herd to get out of this. They don't want them to be buying the dip. DAX, they've gone long. If they sell it, it's going to make it a buy, but it won't be a risky buy because at a high level it's a buy already, 47%. So if they sell it, then this will come up. But whether or not you want to, if you want to trade this, it's quite horrendous, and you've got to be careful. It looks quite bearish, but if it looks bearish, then they're going to sell it, and if they sell it, it will go up. Okay, so a little bit of contrarian logic. They went long on gold, and then they bought it. No, they sold it. Sorry, so we went up, and then they went long here. So it's just doing counter to what the herd are doing, and you want to use the 21 moving average SSI line crossover. It's really simple. So there's the buy. Up we come. It's enough for a week. If you have a position that's correct for your account, you only really need to do something like this, and then you're done for the week. And that would be a sufficient gains in one move, and you don't have to overtrade. You can just use this setup. It's dead easy, and then there you go. Admittedly, we shouldn't have gone up because we were a seller at the high level, but dynamically they sold it. That's the key. This is why time is more important, because it disregards the static. The time is the flow of dumb money, and so the price goes to punish that flow. So, and then they've gone long. Admittedly, they got paid. No, this was the naughty spike that we saw on Monday. So that was like a ruse. However, most of the time, well, 99% of the time, it's really, really accurate. It has to pay the retail guys sometimes, otherwise they'll just leave the casino. Right, so Dollar Swiss is the largest stop loss cluster, as noted by Merlin. He was saying that he was targeting that because of the size and the likelihood of, where it's going to go, because you're looking at bond yields, and the dollar is going to appreciate. So that was a likely target. It looks like we're probably going to get it. And they also they sold everything, which is quite strange, apart from AU, where they went long by 1%. So it's very strange behaviour from the retail guys. Note that the dollar yen, where the stop loss cluster is, and it looks like we're going to probably probe it, and then they'll move their stop 50 pips higher, and then we'll go to 151, 152, 153 until these guys get blown up. And AJ flipped to sell at the FX SSI. So pound is currently paying them, and I said in Discord it's paying their bets, and that's what it is. It's like a gamble right now with pound. It's not really, you're not really trading the pound. It's more like a roulette, which way it's going to go. We don't really know for sure. Currently it's paying the retail guys, so they sold it and prices come down, so they got rewarded on their bias. So you want to be careful with the pound. Anything with a low score, probably just avoid it, because it tells us the retail guys are getting paid, and if they're getting paid, then that would be unusual. So we should see a reversal. Okay, and that's that. And this is the pound CAD that we had yesterday. We had the short, and I actually got out because what I did, I had a nap. I was really tired yesterday, so I got out quite nice profits. I had an hour and a half sleep, and then when I woke up, we had that news about the Prime Minister. So I got out at a really good time. I made 50 pips or so on that move. Figured maybe it was a good haul. It was a sufficient size to make enough profit. And I'm glad I did get out, because then we had that news and we had that huge spike. And, there's a big whipsaw. So you do need to know your exit. Not only your stop loss, but also where your TP is as well. If you've made 50 pips, that's a decent result. Admittedly, you'd probably want to try and hold trades, but when you've got things like this, you probably just want to be careful. And don't forget, you need to pay yourself as well, because it's quite stressful. And if you don't pay yourself, then you're going to get slapped a little bit. And we are currently falling here. It's a lot of chop. So just a little bit of info. We had the signal here to sell. And if you were sort of savvy, if you're quite wise, you could have potentially got out at a fairly 40 pip profit. And of course we had that big bounce, and we had a 16 pip loss, which isn't too bad, but it could have been better. But it's just the announcement of that news. Things are going back to extreme, which is kind of boring. So if you have strong sell again, strong sell. Back to streams, and there's the calendar. So I'm going to wrap up now. We're going to do a quick 2-minute video for the private feed. Now I'm going to be sitting. Sitting down with my feet up, and for the rest of the day. And I think Monday I might even take it easy as well, because that UK thing going on with the Prime Minister. So I'm not sure if I'll be trading Monday. I might do, but it won't be around the pound, that's for sure. So trade safely, and I'll speak to you soon.